Life in Brookdale was simple. The college campus was small, surrounded by coffee shops, quiet streets, and old wooden houses rented out to students. Everyone knew someone. Everyone trusted their neighbors. The house on Kingfisher Lane was one of those student homes. 3 stories, a white frame house with wide windows, tucked just a few blocks from campus. 6 students lived there. 4 of them would soon become victims. Emily Sanders, 21, bright, ambitious, known for her confidence and drive. Emily was weeks away from graduation and ready to take on the world. She loved fashion, loved traveling, and had just landed a job offer that would have taken her out of Brookdale forever. Her best friend, Rachel Monroe, also 21, was the quieter of the two. Loyal, steady. If Emily were fire, Rachel was water. They had been inseparable since childhood, roommates since freshman year. Everyone said they were like sisters. Where you found one, the other was never far behind. Sierra Collins, 20, was the life of the party. Bold, fearless, with a laugh that echoed down hallways. She was majoring in communications, loved sports, and was adored by her friends for her kindness and energy. Her boyfriend, Dylan Hart, also 20, was athletic, goofy, and always smiling. A triplet with a close-knit family, Dylan loved life and loved Sierra. He wasn't supposed to be at the house that night, but he was. By dawn, all 4 would be gone. Saturday, November 12th, was just another weekend night in Brookdale. Emily and Rachel decided to go out downtown. They spent the night at a bar, laughing, drinking, and posting on social media. At around 1:30 a.m., they stopped by a food truck. A live stream caught them smiling, waiting for food, just 2 young women enjoying the night. Meanwhile, Sierra and Dylan had been at a fraternity party nearby. They stayed late, then walked back to the house together, arriving just before 2 a.m. By then, everyone was home. 6 students in total, 2 downstairs, 4 upstairs. But what they didn't know was that someone else was watching. Between 3 o'clock and 4 a.m., the nightmare began. The intruder entered the house silently. No forced entry, no broken locks, just the careful steps of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. The killer moved room to room, a knife in hand. Emily and Rachel were the first. They never stood a chance. Attacked in their room, side by side, just as they had lived their lives. Then Sierra and Dylan. Evidence later showed Sierra woke up. She tried to fight. She had defensive wounds, proof of her final, desperate struggle. Dylan, too, attacked before he could even react. And then, silence. By 4 a.m., the killer was gone. For lives stolen. 2 roommates left alive downstairs, unaware of the carnage above them. Morning came. The surviving roommates awoke, confused. They noticed something was wrong. They tried calling friends. And then, around 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The dispatcher heard panic. A report of an unconscious person. But what police found was far worse. The crime scene was one of the most horrific Brookdale had ever seen. Blood on the walls. Signs of a violent struggle. 4 students were stabbed to death. The entire town fell into fear. Who could do this? Why? And would they strike again? At first, police had nothing. No suspects, no murder weapon, no clear motive. Rumors exploded. Students left town in droves. Parents demanded answers. But investigators had begun to piece together clues. They found surveillance footage. A white sedan was circling the neighborhood again and again that night. Slow, suspicious, and then the breakthrough. At the crime scene, a knife sheath had been left behind. On it, DNA. A small trace, but not enough. It didn't match anyone in the house. But when run through genealogy databases, it led to someone unexpected. Brandon Keller, a 28-year-old criminology PhD student at Ridgeview State University, just 10 miles from Brookdale. He wasn't just a student of crime. He was consumed by it. He studied the psychology of killers. He researched how they stalked their victims. He even conducted surveys, asking criminals how they planned their attacks. Police soon discovered that Keller's cell phone had pinged near the house more than a dozen times in the weeks before the murders. He had been watching, planning. On the night of the killings, his phone had gone dark for several hours, switched off only to turn back on after 4 a.m. The white sedan caught on camera. It was his. The DNA on the knife sheath. A match. December 30th, 2022. Police and the FBI moved in on Keller at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. It was 3 a.m. He was awake, standing in the kitchen when they found him. The news stunned the community. A criminology student studying the minds of killers was accused of being one himself. The murders of Emily, Rachel, Sierra, and Dylan were no longer a mystery, but the horror of knowing why lingered. The case left Brookdale shattered. Students who once walked the streets carefree now feared the dark. Parents who once trusted the safety of their children second-guessed every choice. The victims' families were broken, for lives filled with promise, stolen in a single night. And Brandon Keller, locked away, silent and cold, awaits his trial. One night, that's all it took. The Brookdale murders are remembered not just for their brutality, but for their randomness. These victims weren't targeted for who they were, but simply for being there. It forces us to ask chilling questions. How many people around us hide darkness behind ordinary smiles? How many study crime not to prevent it, but to perfect it? And the most haunting question of all, if not for a single careless mistake, a knife sheath left behind, would the killer have ever been caught? The house on Kingfisher Lane has since been torn down. The laughter it once held, the screams it echoed that night, gone. But the memory remains. The story of Emily, Rachel, Sierra, and Dylan isn't just about tragedy. It's about lives cut short but never forgotten. And as the trial draws closer, one question remains heavy in the air. Will justice ever truly be enough?